What is up guys, and welcome once again to another video. Now this is a video I've been wanting to do for a while. I will be comparing my 2600K which I recently bought to my old i3's performance in games and see how much the bottleneck improved with my RX 480, and we will also be seeing if the 2600K is still a very capable CPU for 2017 and for the upcoming years as well. If you aren't aware of all my specs, they are in the description. You can pause the video and find them out over there. I will also be listing the previous video with the i3 in the description, and the games I will be testing will be GTA 5, Battlefield 1, Shadow of Mordor, Star Wars Battlefront, and CS. So two new games that I will be testing, Battlefield 1 and CS. They weren't there before, but I think it's nice to have a bigger variety of games to test, and we can just compare the old games for the other video. Also, before the video starts, I would like to tell you that there is no MSI Afterburner monitoring. That's because for some reason the new Radeon driver doesn't actually work with MSI Afterburner. So for this time I'm just gonna be giving out an estimate for the GPU and CPU usages, and I will just have the fraps counter on the top. So let's get right into it. Alright, here we have Star Wars Battlefront. I'm running this at 134 resolution scale. Now if you didn't know, 134 resolution scale is actually the equivalent to 1440p. So this is pretty much like playing on a 1440p monitor. So do have that in mind. Also, all settings are on ultra, nothing else turned down. FPS in this game overall is great. It stays above 60 most of the time, but there might be a 5 to 10% chance that it will drop below 60 sometimes. But I am fine with that since it is 1440p. I think the RX 480 can handle all of that. And in terms of GPU and CPU usage, GPU usage is actually 100%, and I believe my CPU usage from what I remember must be around 70%, and overall game runs incredibly well. So here we have CS, all ultra settings of course. Let's see how the frame rate flows. By the way, GPU and CPU usage for this game is very low because it does not need it. But if it did utilize all of that, the FPS would be absolutely insane. But anyway, enjoy the gameplay here.
Hold up. Yeah.
Swirl.
Oh yeah. Yes.
So here we have Battlefield 1. I'm running at 1080p but at 134% resolution scale, so 1440p just like Star Wars Battlefront. However, my settings are different on this one. They are not all on ultra just like Star Wars. As you can see, I have terrain ground cover on low, as well as the effects, and the others are a mixture between medium and ultra. Now if you didn't know, this game is pretty much a CPU hog. I've seen it max out a 6700K before, and it does in fact max out my 2600K at 100 CPU usage almost at all times. So it was really important for me to turn some of those CPU dependent options down. The effects obviously, and they still look good in my opinion, and the terrain ground cover. I mean, who needs extra terrain on their terrain? I think it's just a pointless option overall. But overall the game still looks incredible, and not only does it look incredible, it performs amazingly well, and it stays above 60 a lot of the time. However, on game modes like operations, there are some maps that perform worse than others. There are maps that I might never drop below 60, and there are maps that I might drop below 60 30% of the time. But even when it drops below 60, it's still very smooth at 50 FPS. So what I'm gonna do is pretty much put two clips in this section of the video for Battlefield 1. One will be on a map that runs very well, and then I'm gonna continue to the other map that doesn't run as well, which is more chaotic, more things happening on the screen, more people, more explosions, more gunshots, everything, and you will see how the two frame rates compare. But overall, even in those situations, the game is still very smooth, and I couldn't be happier with my Battlefield 1 performance. The game runs great. Okay, so here is GTA 5. Now in terms of GTA 5, I'm using much higher settings than I was using with my i3. I'm also using MSAA anti-aliasing, and overall the game looks and runs great. No bottleneck here, and I am very happy about that. It stays above 60 almost 80% of the time, so it's just an incredible experience. With my i3, I will list the number and you will see how it performed. Overall, GTA 5 here runs so much better. An open world game with a bad CPU will really limit you, so thank God that I have the 2600K. But without further ado, I hope you enjoy the benchmark.
Drugs that you're taking are killing you so. I don't get it. It's so black and blue how I'm drawn into you. Magnetic, you're magnetic.
So here we have BO3. Now this game ran great with my i3 as well, so let's see if it runs any better. All settings are on highest except for textures, because I do not have more than 4 gigs of VRAM that it needs for the highest textures. And also the order independent transparency is on medium and it doesn't let me go above that. I think that's a VRAM thing also, but everything else is on the highest 1080p. Enjoy the gameplay. Last game here is Shadow of Mordor with the highest options for everything in 1080p. This game runs like a charm. I think it never ever drops below 60. I hope you enjoy this benchmark. Anyway guys, that has been it for the benchmarks and the gameplay. Making this video and comparing my old i3 to my i7 now was a great idea. I can really see how a bottleneck can affect a very high CPU usage game like GTA 5 or Battlefield 1. I mean, there were obviously games that didn't change too much in performance, like Shadow of Mordor, Black Ops 3. So for those two games, performance was pretty much identical. However, for the others, I did notice a big difference, and for some others a small difference. So let's ask the question now, is the 2600K still a great CPU for modern gaming? The answer is yes, and have in mind this isn't even overclocked. If you have this CPU now and you're thinking of upgrading, do not, because it is not worth it. This CPU can run with GPUs like the 1070 and the 1080 without bottlenecks if you overclock it. But for me, since I do have an RX 480, I don't need to overclock it as of now. So I'm thinking this CPU will last for the next 2 years or maybe 3, and that's probably when I'm gonna overclock as well, get this thing to 4.4, and it should be good for the next years. And I have the same advice for you. If you have the CPU and you're planning to upgrade, do not just overclock it and you will be good for the next few years. However, if you have Ivy Bridge and you're looking for a budget really good CPU to last you, go ahead and buy the 2600K great CPU for the price, as it is old now and the performance on this thing cannot be neglected. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Very fun for me to make. Bye, have a great time and peace out.